There is one singular cow in this whole field, and he's coming here to see us.
It is said that this is one of the first places to start the autumn season in China. We traveled more than 3,000 kilometers from the south to the north, starting from Suzhou, passing through Nanjing and Beijing, before finally arriving at Hulunbuir, Inner Mongolia. Hulunbuir is the largest prefecture-level city in the world. We only spent 5 days here. It of course wasn't enough for us to fully explore this vast open land, but it was enough to let us enjoy the beauty of Hulunbuir.
We traveled through the grasslands with the most winding rivers and the first woodland in Asia. We also visited the coldest city in China, Genhe, and got to experience close interactions with real reindeers.
We watched the morning sunrise and the fog pouring out over the river that is the boundary between China and the Russian border. We then drove 400 kilometers along the longest border line of China, which is also praised as the most beautiful border. Upon arriving to the westernmost point of the city, we came to the largest land port in China, Manzhouli Port.
We watched the sunset unfold at Hulun Lake, the largest lake in Inner Mongolia. Finally, we set off from Heishantou and crossed the border from China into Mongolia.
One interesting thing about the small village we stayed in the night before is that there was no individual heater in our rooms. It is managed by an outdoor furnace that they will burn coal in to send heat through the pipes connecting to each room. For the people in these small village towns, this is the most effective way to keep all the rooms at their hotel toasty warm. While it is an older method, in places like this, there is no need to fix something that isn't broken.
I had planned to wake up early before the sun and climb to the top of a nearby overlook by the river to watch the sunrise and try to catch the morning fog. On this side of the river, the sun was slowly rising, while on the other side, in Russia, the moon was setting. The river was blanketed in mist, creating a surreal atmosphere. Despite the biting cold that morning, the view in front of me made it all worthwhile, an experience I'll never forget. When I got there to film the sunrise, much to my surprise, I met a large group of others. Who knew that this would be so popular amongst other tourists following the same route as us?
After leaving Linjiang Village, we started our journey down the border, and this road followed the river, so we had many winding turns. It felt a little bit to me like driving down the PCH in California, but the noticeable difference here was that on one side we had the forest line and the other we had some open hills. The contrast in scenery was a bit of a mixture between what we had seen the previous 2 days.
We found farmland with a few rolled up hay barrels, and from what we've seen the previous days, it seems that many Chinese tourists find this to be attractive. In Chinese, these are called 草垛子. We didn't really stop to play with them ourselves, but while exploring one of the fields, we saw one lonely cow just making her way towards us.
There is one singular cow in this whole field, and he's coming here to see us. Hi, little cow.
It made me wonder if she was lost from her herd, or if she just enjoyed exploring here on her own too. Nevertheless, it seemed like she was having a good time.
Farther down the road, we passed some military bases. These are forbidden to fly drones, and you aren't really supposed to point your camera in their direction either, so we could not get good footage during this part of the drive. There was also some other Russian-style buildings. I don't quite know what they are, but from a distance, it is easy to appreciate them as there are very few buildings along this route. At this point, we encountered a large traffic jam due to some road closures for construction. They would only open the road for traffic every hour for around 10 minutes to let cars pass through.
So it's just our luck that we get stuck in a traffic jam. In the back of us, there's probably only about 25, maybe 30 cars, but before we were stuck and there was like 150 cars. And now we are at the front of the line here, but this guy put his car here to block the center of the road because I guess it's their lunchtime. So now we have to wait an additional, like, I don't know, hour or something to continue forward down this road. And I mean, while it is a lot of like farmland and the same things we've been seeing for the past couple days, I mean, maybe one of us can just go for a hike and take some photos or videos, but I mean, what is there to do? We just sit at the front of the line, because if we go back, then we lose our spot and then we risk be stuck here again, but like farther in the back. So I think it's better to just wait, unfortunately. RIP. That's what we have to deal with for now. At least we don't have any like time frame for things. We don't have a place to be. We don't have anything planned out. Just have to go from A to B. So
a bit inconvenient for us, but in the end it's okay because this is a road trip, so it just gives us more time to enjoy the scenery. Being that it is the beginning of autumn, this slight inconvenience is more enjoyable than if it was summertime in the blistering heat.
When we got to our next town, Heishantou, it was quite small, but because it is on the border, we must go to the nearby police station to register there. We had to do this several times during our trip, as this is required for foreigners in every border town. By now, it was afternoon and we needed lunch. So while walking the streets, we chose a restaurant that specializes in Inner Mongolia cuisine. We ordered a special local vegetable and a roasted lamb. It wasn't really the best meal, but it was sufficient for the night.
Roast lamb 好像是 rib 吧，不是 rib 是
rib
哦。有3种蘸料，这个是辣椒的，这个是什么？不知道，感觉都很辣诶。
The terrain here is a vast open flatland that seems to stretch for endless miles as far as the eyes can see. It is said that these hotels close in October because the climate here in Heishantou gets extremely cold and snowy by the end of the month. With no central heating or road maintenance, it becomes incredibly challenging for tourists to travel here during these harsh winters. After lunch, we headed back to our rental for the night. It was this nice Mongolian yurt in a large open field.
Alright, so instead of like this blue, super colorful one over there, they decided to give us this type of room. And now we will have this one here at 923. He gets 922. And yeah, we get this yurt with a window that looks at this open field of basically nothing.
看，这是
有新小零食。
啊，不知道你们长什么样。 哦，这里可以直接看 grassland，不知道是 sunrise 还是 sunset。
I guess we'll see in a bit. Heishantou is home to many horse farms, and the most popular activity here is horseback riding up the hills to watch the sunset. Our hotel offered this experience as well, but unfortunately we arrived a bit too late to join that day. Instead, we drove along the road following beside the horses for a while, which was enough to satisfy our curiosity. With day 3's exploration of Heishantou coming to a close, we returned back to our yurt for the night and began getting ready for the following morning, where we will begin our journey into Mongolia port.